of Taurus, a little bit inside this zodiac in this month, but still interesting, important zodiac, as you see yourself just now. And all of these things really I had in my book, the book which is above the zodiac. You can get it in GlazersonBooks.com or Amazon.books.com. So interesting and significant book, as it really based on Kabbalah, on the Zohar. Basically, as one knows, this is a book of formation related to Abraham, which tells us about this month, as we see just now. Yeah, a book which relates to Abraham, and as you know quite well, that the creation of the world was with letters, Aleph, Bet, as the Kabbalah says, the Zohar says, Bereshit bara Elokim, in the beginning of it, Aleph, Taf, Et. The Hebrew word Et is Aleph, Taf, from the first letter Aleph to the last letter Taf. This is the creation, really. All my books, really, that one can get in GlazersonBooks.com or Amazon.com. Then you will see all my books, many of them are related to Hebrew letters, connected with everything in creation. So now we are going to discuss about the month of Taurus. This is my book, as you can see. And what is important about this month, as you see yourself, is very, very important month. In Jewish history, a lot of things happened at this time, a lot of beginnings started. Even the Israel country was also, the 5th of Iyar was the Zodiac of Taurus, days of the Omer. And Lag BaOmer we have, and then we have the Jerusalem Day, the beginning of the Six Day War, all took place in Iyar, a lot of beginnings, as we see even more in Jewish history. Long time ago, the Jewish nation became a nation, really, in the desert, when they were ready to go into Israel, with the counting, when Moses counted them, and counting them, as the Nachmanides said, not only counting numbers, that each one was told by Moses what is specific destiny or goal in life to do, and to be part of the whole nation. So it means this was the beginning of the Jewish nation, also was in this month. Also, this month, the first temple was created, means the building of the first temple started, Solomon started it in this month, and Ezra, the second one, also in this month. This is a good, very good month for beginnings, yeah? So, definitely it's important for people to know that it's a good time to start beginning. But as I said, most of the ideas that we are going to discuss about are from the book of creation, related to Abraham, Kabbalah, also Vilna Gaon, and Isaac Luria, all refers to this book, commentary about this book. So all of this we try to touch in this lecture now. Now, the first thing, let us see what are the words of the book of formation, Sefer Yetzirah, related to Abraham, says about this month. This is, in fact, the same style like he speaks about each month, each zodiac. So this is what he says about this month, about this zodiac. And zodiac, as we said of Taurus, Iyar, was formed by means of the letter Vav. Yeah, the letter Vav, the sixth letter of the alphabet, alphabet Gimel, Dalet Vav. A letter, very important letter, especially according to Kabbalah. It represents the sphere of Yesod, and Yesod is the sixth, really the sixth sphere, represents the Yosef. Yesod is really the basis of purity, cleanliness, spiritual one. And this is interesting that in Hebrew, in fact also in other languages, in Russian, in fact Russian Hebrew, the letter 6 is three, right? This is six branches. 3 and 3 represent the six spheres, which are built up of right, left, and middle. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet is the first, the letter Shin, and then the other one is the last three, Netzach Hod Yesod. This is the other. It's amazing. In Hebrew, number 6 represents what it is. In other languages, 6, Zes. Many other languages have Sis, French, Holland, Dutch, and so on. Very close to Hebrew. Sis, Ses, Zes. Like Shesh in Hebrew. But only in Hebrew, the shape of the letter represents what the number is. This is Hebrew language. Different. One should read my book, Hebrew Source of Languages, in the book, Amazon.com, or Glazerson, books.com. Many books that I did, all of them round letters. So one of them really in Hebrew, The Secret of Number 6, but you can see a lot of connection. Today some universities in the state agree that it's the truth, that Hebrew is a source of language. And this you will see in my book, Hebrew Source of Language, available, as you said, Glazerson.com, also Amazon.com, Hebrew Source of Languages. As we said, after really Mosesson, he went into it academically, did very academic work about this, and you can see his book, The Word, and other books, all of them he shows clearly, and he proves, and it is accepted by many people, linguistics, that it is true, that Hebrew is a source of languages. So let us now see what more the Book of Formation related to Abraham says. So the first thing, the letter Vav. Vav is a very important letter, I thought a lot about it. Or not only the number 6, but the Vav represents connection. Vav in Hebrew is also like a hook. And the letter Vav is connecting, and also connection very much connected with the foundation of Yesod, the sphere of Yesod. So this is a letter of this month. And only this by the 5th. I gave a lecture, you can see it in the internet, about the Hebrew letters and the Zodiac and the stars. So then I explain exactly how the letter Vav comes here, yeah? Each Zodiac is another letter. So, this is a letter. Now, what is the attribute of this month? As we said, every month has attribute. And the attribute of this month, according to Isaac Luria, really, is thought, mind, thinking, contemplation. This is a month that somehow the mind works properly. It's supposed to work properly, one should use it properly. But this is really the nature, the character of this month, thinking. In Hebrew they call it hirur, deep thinking, contemplation, they said. Then, according to Kabbalah, I think there's also in astrology, each zodiac is connected with an organ in the body. So the organ of this month in the body, who correspond to it, is the right kidney. There's another one for the left kidney, but this was the right kidney. Now we see after what kidney represents, and it is connected with thought and with the letter of this month. Now, also, every month from the 12th month is connected with another tribe of Israel. So what is the tribe of this month? So the tribe of this month is Issachar, or Issachar, and as the Torah describes him, and this is a tribe, Yudei Tim, Rabbinite mean tribe who knows deep meaning of times, of periods, and astrology definitely also, and very wise, studying, learning Torah. It is not that even Haman, when he had problems, somebody took people from Issachar to help him to solve problems. But this is a tribe who was sitting Torah, was very deep in Torah, and he knew astrology, he knew deep things. Then you have also a planet which is connected with each month. So this month is connected with, according to astrology, also Venus, Noga. So very, very interesting. So this is the basis of this month, as we said. come to Kabbalah, come to the Book of Formation, and also the Vilna Gaon, the Rabbi Zodiac Toraus, who explained this book, lot of secrets, not simple at all. You have about a couple now about it in English, but very deep. It's written that if a man will know properly this book, and will know how to combine letters together, he can create man. In fact, there are stories. The Gemara says about Rabbah, some of the problem sometimes with the minions, they created a man, created also animals. In fact, something which happened a while ago, it was a rabbi, I think Chacham Tzvi, and he was asked, somebody really build up a calf, and he asked whether it have to be slaughtered or not, because as it was not really proper life, so might doesn't need slaughtering. So this is practical thing. There is a story about the Maharal who created a golem, which they called also, according to this book, to fight with the enemies of Israel. So, definitely, this is dependent on this book, telling us how the world was created, but it's very, very difficult, and not everyone can use it, definitely. So, what is a zodiac? We saw already, but this also have a word for its name in Hebrew. In fact, better to say it is Aramaic, because all the names of the month came from Aramaic when Jews were long time. So the name of this month is Iyar. Iyar, you can see clearly connection if you know able to Or. Basically, Iyar and Meir. So it is a month of light. In fact, in the book Kings, there's the book number 1, chapter 6, verse 3. So this is exactly the chapters which tell us about the building of the first temple by Solomon in this month. So how the Bible describes this month, how it calls this? So Chodesh Ziv, the month of Ziv. Now what Ziv means? Brightness. What is brightness? Brightness of the sun, because this is a month where the sun starts shining, after the winter. So this is really the name of it in the Bible, Ziv, but basically like Iyar. Iyar also the word from Meir for Or. So as clearly connected this month with light. When we speak about light, as we see, light is Torah. Light is physical light, but there is also spiritual light. The spiritual light which enlightening man's life is the Torah. Torah is light. And already we mentioned that through the letter Vav, which is 6, it also represents to the 6 Sidrei Mishnah, the 6th set of Mishnah of the Oral Torah. The Oral Torah is based on 6. There's a lot behind this to do with the Torah. So this is a month, really, which one should use his mind, as we said, is the character of this month. And this is what we have to do this month, to use a lot of our mind. So, what more about this month? And what is the idea of the word Iyar? So simple to do with light, but there is much more behind this. And this is what our rabbis tell us, something interesting. They tell us that this is a month that somehow, is a good time for medicine. It means this is a month that is good for healing. And the rabbis tell us that the abbreviation of this month, Iyar, is Ani Hashem Rofecha. I am your doctor. Right? So somehow this is a good month for it. Yeah? Maybe people try to do the best to get healed, cured in this month. Also, they say something else. The numerical value of Iyar is 221, which is like the root of the Hebrew word Arucha. Arucha is healing. Arucha. So I spoke a lot also in my book, Torah, Light and Healing. Also one can get in Glazerson Amazon.com or Amazon.com. Now in this book I use a lot Hebrew word for medicine, like refuah, arucha, many others, and clearly showing that really health is very, very much to do with what they call today psychosomatic, with the neshama, Happiness, joy helps a lot for one health. And depression and tension, all these things were not quite well, they are causing a lot of serious sicknesses. And everything is in the Hebrew letters. If you take and analyze the Hebrew word, refuah, right, is the light, the opening of light. So this is a book which I wrote, came out in quite a few languages, also in Spanish, in Russian, but in English and Hebrew, you can see it, very interesting. So Iyar is a month of health, numerical value, as you said, 2 to 1, which is like Erech Harucha, is the term of health. Then there are much more deeper idea behind this letter of Iyar, which is abbreviation of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Rachel. The connection by Rachel. Rachel is a very important part in Jewish history. So Iyar is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the three forefathers, and with Rachel, our mother. So there are definitely connection. Now, going more into it, as I said, about the kidney. What kidney has to do with this? So very famous. In fact, come also from the Bible, klayot, the kidneys, yoatzot. They are the source of advices. Interesting. Written them. Abraham, our Rabbi Stella, there is a medrash, homiletic, which says that Abraham knew the Torah through kidneys. His kidneys brought out wisdom. Definitely difficult to understand it, but this is part of the klayot. Now speaking about the right one, it means that it gives the right thought, ideas to men. But if you learn to the Torah, if you prepare himself in the right way, keeping Torah and so on, so you have good ideas. Advice is coming. So this idea that the Book of Formation said, klaya, the right one. The left one belongs to another mouth, which is a little bit more difficult there, because the left one gives not so good advices, but one should use them also. You can use them for the good one. Like our rabbis tell us, that what we say in our prayers, Kriyat Shema, they call, ואהבת את השם אלוקיך בכל לבבך, you should love God with the two hearts. What are the two hearts? There is the right one or left one. Left one normally is for the left, but definitely the idea that a man should use these forces which leftists are using on into the right thing. So this is the same thing with kidneys. We got two kidneys, right and left, and this month is the right one. So this is, as we said. Now about the letter Vav, as we said, has to do with purity, Yesod, to do with the Torah Sheba'al Peh, 6 sets of Mishnah, connecting link, very significant. According to Kabbalah, is called the letter of truth. Very interesting. Also straight, connected up and down, heaven and earth. In fact, this is the idea of foundation. So, Hashamayim va'aretz. So the letter Vav, very, very important letter. And the Zohar really said about the Vav, which is the letter of this month, it symbolizes truth, and in relating the Vav to this month, essential attribute, which thought. So Rav Tzadok HaKohen, very important book, many books, but they have a book on the portion of the week, and in one of them, really, this one, Bamidbar, which is the time of Shavuot, he says something very interesting. He says that, this is what he explains, really more into it, he says that through one's dedication to truth, one achieves deliverance from evil thought. Interesting. This is something very interesting because practically it shows what a man should work on. He should work on truth. But truth is the basis of everything. If a man really is true and is careful about truth, so he can save himself with many, many evil things happening. Now, what is also interesting about this month, as you know quite well, that we are counting days, 50 days, really, the 50th is Shavuot, but you count 49 coming to the 50th from Passover. After Passover, the first day of Passover, we start counting days up to 50 days altogether with Shavuot. And those days are very important. They are parallel to characteristic, midot, that we have to work on. Really great rabbis work each day on the midah, on the attribute connected with this. You know, there are 48. In the Ethics of the Fathers is written there, the last chapter, the Torah is acquired with 48 attributes. See there, each one requires another effort, a man should work on if you want to get the Torah fully. So 48, but the 48 is also Gematria of Moach, brain, Mem 48. So great rabbis used to work according to this ethic of the Father, this Mishnah, which tells you exactly the first thing you should be careful learning, the other, second, this one. So every day they worked according to this 48, and on the 49th one, which is the last one before Shavuot, they made a summary. It's a very hard work, but this is very important work if you want really to get the right and deep understanding of the Torah. And this is the time for it, right? It's the time for working for it. It is so interesting that really Shemesh Shmuel says that the zodiacs, but to say even the planets of the zodiac, represent exactly what a Jew should do and what really happened to Jews during this time. And in fact, the same thing, you should work on this time. Now, Pesach, Passover, was in the month of Nisan. Nisan. What is the zodiac, the sign of the zodiac? Nisan, Elem, Taleh. Taleh, Elem. Shepsele, because sheep normally behave very nicely, does not rebel, does not make troubles. He follows his shepherd beautifully. And this is exactly how Jews were behaving when they came out from Egypt. And right in the beginning, when they came out of Egypt, they will follow Moses like the cattle follows the shepherd. Yeah, we know the famous verse, Zacharti la chesed noraich, lechtecha rabba midbar. God said, I remember your behavior, Lamikanes, chesed, following me, lechtecha rabba midbar, desert. Beautifully, like a really lamb, following the shepherd. No, this is a nice zodiac, nice sign. But when Jews came to Taurus, after really already being out of Egypt, no slaves anymore, start feeling that they are something, their mind starts working. Not like in Egypt, they could not think at all, say, ooh, I'm something, No, not simple, they cannot agree with everything, so they start fighting with Moses, this is not good, you want to go back, and so on, lots of rebellions, like a Taurus. And we know Taurus, every ox normally has his corner, and not so easy, especially when to slaughter him, not at all. So, he's rebellious, not at all, obstacle, not. Yeah, this is how, unfortunately, if you read the Torah during this time, just reading, did quite a lot of problems to Moses. This is not good, you want to go back, why you brought us out, No, like an Archus, like Taurus. So the Taurus represent the behavior in this time. But after really a while, not so long, coming into the Zodiac of twins Gemini, or they understood they are different, really. And right, maybe this is not so suitable for us, but apparently Moses knows. So, what happened? So the Torah tells us when they entered the beginning of the month of Sivan, after the month of Taurus, into the month of Gemini, the twins who they behave nicely. Va'ichan Israel keneged ha'ar. The Jews encamped next to the mountain Sinai, and the only place in the whole Bible that you have the word encamping by Jews in singular, Va'ichan, is only when they were next to Sinai, and right before accepting the Torah. Why? Because then, after thinking and understanding and a lot of work, which they did during the month of Taurus, they came to understanding that they are part of one nation, and you have to take into consideration your fellow men. And so interesting that some rabbi says the Hebrew word in Hebrew, Va'ichan, which is Chanayach, is also to do with grace. Chen, in Hebrew Matzah, Chen, find favor, Chen. So what is the connection between being united and grace? So Rabbi said an amazing idea, that every Jew found also the grace of his fellow man. Yeah, not only his, but his fellow man. He understood that his friend is different, but still God gave him what he is, and I got what I am. So there was no jealousy. They understood exactly what is the destiny of each one. And this is exactly why Jews, every Jew really has a letter in the Torah. And this, you know, the abbreviation of the Hebrew word Israel is Yesh Shishim Ribot Yot Torah. There is 600,000 letters to the Torah, like the number of Jews at that time. Why? Because like every letter is different, but works together, make a story and so on. The same thing, every Jew is different, but altogether the Jews are supposed to be an example and to really create beautiful harmony of proper nation, not arguments. And this is what happened. When Jews don't keep the Torah, you know, you see what today. And I think in Israel there were 49 parties that wanted to be in the Knesset. I think not of them, but I think never heard such a... In other places, so many parties, so many arguments. And okay, this is why, so the Maharal says, he says, because Jews are main of the mind, the brain. In the brain, everyone is different. In the body, everyone is the same, 2 eyes, and nose, and mouth. When you look into the thinking ideology, and for this, there's so many arguments by Jews more than many other nations. Because Jews are the people of the mind. This again, so it is not only for Nobel Prize, for other things of technology, that they got the mind. They got the mind to work in the Torah, to understand what the Torah wants from them, what is the Jewish people. And this is the month that we are now, Taurus, which prepares for it. These are the days of the Omer. So, the process that Jews went through was exactly like the Zodiac, from a situation of flame to a situation of shore, of Taurus, into a situation of twins. Different, but working together. This was the God of Torah. The God of Torah were on the 6th of Sivan. Also the 6th of Sivan, the argument was 6. Why? Because 6 is a number which represents Jews, truth, unity, thought. So amazing teaching of the planets, right? You know, the world was created with planets, and each one has a meaning, and also instruction. So altogether, as we said, beautiful idea that you see during these days, 50 days. 50 is also Kabbalistic, very no number. 50 represents completion of purity, 50 Sharei Torah, completion of understanding, 50 gates of understanding, 50. Basically, it represents the highest level of bright, light, light of the mind, brightness, light. And this is what really is supposed to get when you got the Torah. Yeah. So 50, this is why we are counting 50. So unfortunately, 50 gates of impurity where Jews were in Egypt. They were very much, unfortunately, in very, very low levels spiritually. 49 gates of impurity. If they would go to the 50th, finish, no more. Yeah. Then, by the way, they say that, or Chaim says that today, we can get into the 50 because we have the Torah, which can help us to go out of this gate also. But in the time of Egypt, they did not have. So if they would be in the 50th, no way to come out. Very interesting. So I think today, there are Jews which descend to this level. In fact, some say it was in the Holocaust, the assimilation, all this reform, a very low level. But we have the Torah. With the Torah, one can renew himself, definitely. This is a power. In the Kabbalah, it's called Shara Nun, the gate of Nun, the letter Nun, because Nun is the Gematria 50. So I say, there cannot be coincidence that in English, Nun represents the noon time. Really the noon time, when really the sun is shining, bright, light. And Nun represents the light of the man, when he really understands properly, and his mind really is shining, full of light of Torah. Cannot be coincidence. Because there are many words like this. We're not going into it now. Maybe it is another lecture. But in my book, Hebrew Source of Language, you can see a lot of words like this. So, important time, counting the Omer. And definitely, it's so much about this month, Toes. It's a very important one. All the beginnings was in this time, at least. The temple started, Jewish. The counting Jews in the desert started this time. Moses counted them and told each one what his destiny, goal in life. And then Jerusalem, we got back Jerusalem, and start again. We got the 6-day war during this time. All came on this month, Toes. Also, Kabbalistically, ox, sure, represents Joseph. This is what he is compared to. And Moses said, Pchor Shoro Adarlo, yeah, the beauty of an ox. To do with Joseph. So also Joseph is to do with Messiah, the son of Joseph, and some really claim that this victory that we had in the 6th war, 6 also, by the way, 6th day, yeah, the number 6, right? As we said, also not coincidence in this month of Joseph. So this was part of Messiah of Joseph, right? A lot written about it. So altogether, really, is so much more to discuss about this month that it will take a long time. So I think that in what